Hello, my angel. Welcome to episode 1 of the Angel Hotline. I'm your host, Adelle Angelic, and this is going to be a juicy one. So make sure you go get a cup of herbal tea, light some incense, a candle, and settle in with me today and receive this information. Now, I have to start off with talking about the feminine. A lot of women are being called into this work, so I'm going to give you some signs that you may be experiencing if you're being called deeper, and also what will happen if you ignore the call. I'm going to be completely honest with you and just say that the feminine is such a deep, complex topic. I have spent the last 6 months really immersing myself into the feminine mysteries. I've been working with a womb priestess, shout out Carme. We have been going deep into healing my womb, and it has been such a deeply uncomfortable and triggering journey, but also so mystical and so magical. And it has been a journey of reclaiming my womb, reclaiming my body, and really tuning into my heart and my inner world. This is my perspective of the feminine based on my own lived experience. And what I will say is the path of the feminine and working with your womb is a lifetime devotion of work. And I'm so grateful to be on this path. I received so many signs, niggles, and I always answered the call. And I was speaking to Carme the other day, and she was saying how a lot of women are actually receiving the call to go deeper into this work, but ultimately not everyone will answer. So I want to create this to raise awareness around what it means to answer the call of the feminine and what signs you are receiving. So let's get into it. In a nutshell, the feminine is sacred knowledge and wisdom that has been erased and hidden from us for hundreds of years. When I talk about the feminine, I'm not talking about gender. The feminine is a frequency. We all have feminine and masculine energies within all of us, within all beings. However, as women with wombs, we naturally have that connection with the spirit world because our wombs birth souls into this world. Carme always says that our wombs are the most advanced technology on the planet, and it cannot be replicated. They are trying. There is a war on our wombs. There is a spiritual war going on. This is why we need to wake up to the power that we hold, because let's be fucking real, they knew how powerful we were as women, and this is why they created patriarchy and religion to try to suppress it. I'm not going to dive too much into that today, but what I will say is patriarchy oppresses the feminine by creating this masculine, logical world full of control, ego, hierarchy, and anything to do with the feminine. So intuition, your emotions, your sensitivity, that is considered woo-woo or a weakness. The world has been designed to exploit women's insecurities and make women feel like they need to focus more on their external appearance through unrealistic beauty standards, diet culture, constantly comparing ourselves to each other, and trying to strive for this perfect image, this perfect body. It's absolutely exhausting, but please understand that this is all the divine plan to keep us disconnected from our inner worlds. In society, women are seen as too much and too sensitive, but actually your sensitivity is your superpower. And then just to touch upon religion, so a lot of religious texts have completely removed the goddess. For example, Mary Magdalene was a priestess. She trained in mystery schools in Egypt. She did the work with Yeshua side by side with him. She was the divine feminine, he was the divine masculine, and they did their work in divine union with each other. She was not a whore, she was not a prostitute, but that sacred knowledge and that wisdom has been completely wiped out of sacred texts to keep women disconnected from the feminine. The feminine is all about connecting with the unseen realms through ritual and ceremony. We do this by having practices where we honor the goddess day and night. This is what Kame taught me. It's about having rituals, meditations, and connecting with spirit in your own way, so you can have that connection with God. You can have that connection with your inner world. You can connect with your heart, your womb, and your wisdom within you. And through that devotion, you will then vibrate at a frequency that will call in everything that you desire. I also just want to say that the path of the feminine is not fluffy love and light. As I mentioned previously, it can be deeply uncomfortable and deeply triggering because you are moving through pain, grief, sadness, fear, shame, not just from your lifetime, but from the generations that stood before you. We are carrying this trauma in our DNA, in our energy field, in our wombs, and it is now down to us to alchemize and transmute this pain so we can turn it into love, acceptance, joy, because your ancestors do not want you to suffer. They want you to break these generational cycles. Your soul chose to do this, and that is a lot to carry, but this is powerful fucking work, and on the other side of this is true liberation for your soul. I'm now going to share with you 5 signs that you are being called deeper into this work. Number 1, burnout. You've probably ticked all the boxes for success. You've climbed the ladder because that's what you thought that you were supposed to do, but for some reason you still feel empty, you still feel drained, and you still feel depleted. You feel like life is passing you by because you're chasing all of these milestones that don't really mean anything, but you're giving into societal pressures. And you know that your body is craving something different. It's craving rest, it's craving a reset, and it's craving pleasure over performance. Number 2, you are drawn to the moon. Let me know in the comments if you are a fellow moon girly. I literally love talking about the moon, and this was one of the first things that called me into the feminine, was that I was starting to notice that I was syncing up with the moon cycles. So I would always feel exhausted around a full moon, and I would always make sure that I do rituals that connect with the moon cycles. And I used to love doing my tarot cards, my oracle. So if you love anything to do with that and you feel a sense of calm and peace when you do those practices, then that is a sign that you are being called deeper. Number 3, your intuition is awakening. So this will start with the gut feelings, and you probably will start to regret not trusting how you feel, because ultimately when we first start getting these gut feelings and these inner knowings and these feelings, we do not trust ourselves because we do not have the hard logical evidence. You probably are starting to see synchronicities, signs, divine encounters. For me, when I was being called deeper into the feminine, I was seeing the Eye of Horus everywhere, which is the Egyptian symbol for intuition and protection. I was also seeing the lotus everywhere, which is a symbol of the divine feminine and a sign of rebirth. Other signs that you might be receiving, or other symbolism, would be snake for kundalini energy, butterflies for metamorphosis. Roses are also significant because there is something called a red rose lineage, which is, again, part of the feminine mysteries. Let me know in the comments if you're receiving any of these signs, or if there's any other signs that you are receiving. I would absolutely love to know. Number 4, you are longing for sisterhood and deeper connection. Maybe the friendships that you have right now are starting to feel a little bit more surface level. Maybe you feel like you're not having as much in common with these people. Ultimately, the path of the feminine is the unconventional path. What I found was I wasn't able to settle into the life that everybody else had, and that caused me to put a lot of distance in place from my friendships because I was tired of dimming myself down to other people's expectations of me, and I was finding that I was putting on more of a facade or hiding who I truly was because I didn't want people to think that I was weird or strange when I spoke about the journey that I had been on and the things that I was looking into and reading about, because as I said, we're living in a patriarchal world where this stuff is kind of considered woo-woo, and I have felt misunderstood for a very, very long time. But all I will say is do not dim yourself down, please, because that's just going to make it harder for you to claim your gifts. Part of being on this journey means that old friendships, relationships, sometimes even family members are going to crumble away. But trust that that is happening to create space for new aligned friendships to come in, because sisterhood is so beautiful and we need each other in this world. In a patriarchal world where they have tried to put us against each other, it is a huge act of rebellion to have sisterhood in your life. Leading on to number 5, you have a deeper sense of calling and purpose in your life. So you are not happy in a 9 to 5. You're not happy in a normal job. It's not fulfilling you. It doesn't matter if you change jobs to a different company, you still feel uncomfortable. You still feel bored and drained and depleted, and you probably feel like you just can't do this for the rest of your life. And even if you don't know right now what your calling is, all it starts with is a little niggle that you are meant for so much more than what you are currently settling for. So what will happen if you ignore the call of the feminine? This might be a little bit triggering because I'm going to be completely and utterly blunt with you, but this is all said with love, because I want you to start rising into the version of yourself that is ready to hold your destiny, okay? So you will just continue to feel uncomfortable in your life. You will continue to go down the road of burnout. You could potentially get sick from holding this toxicity within your body, not knowing how to transmute the grief, the sadness, the pain. This is all very toxic, heavy energy. And when we don't know how to clear it out and alchemize it, we'll continue to experience the same loops of self-sabotage in terms of not being able to do the things that you say that you are going to do. It is so conflicting when you have a vision for your life and you know you're being called forward, but you can't take action towards these goals or your dreams because you feel exhausted and you feel depleted all the time. And that is because you are surrounding yourself with people who do not see you and hear you for who you truly are. And being misunderstood is exhausting. Imagine spending your whole life having to translate your soul to everybody, pouring into your friendships and your relationships, only for them to not respect you and not pour into you back, because that will lead to resentment and a very unhappy and unfulfilling life. If you continue to ignore the call of the feminine, then you will wake up one day on your deathbed full of regret. Now, I'm really sorry to be morbid with this example, but I told you I'm going to be dishing out the harsh truths today, and that one thing really scared me, and that really did push me into change, because I didn't want to wake up one day full of regret. I didn't want to wake up and feel like I didn't reach my full potential in my life, especially when I felt like I had such a vision and a purpose. I was done with bed rotting. I was done with having this big vision for my life and worrying about waking up one day and thinking that I just wasted my life and I didn't create the life of my dreams. Like, that scared the shit out of me. So I did something about it, and I hired people to help me. I invested heavily into my personal growth and my spiritual path, and it pays off. Lastly, if you do not answer the call of the feminine, you are not just doing yourself a disservice, but you are doing the world a disservice. You are here to activate people. You are here to help other people change their lives with the knowledge and the wisdom that you have accumulated from the things that you have been through in this world, in this lifetime, okay? You are here to activate people with your story and with your voice. The thing is, as I said, the feminine has been silenced for hundreds of years, and we are holding this within our DNAs, within our energy fields, and we find it very difficult to speak out on the things that we believe in. But your voice is your medicine, and that is going to be how you create lasting change in this world, and this is the ripple effect. We must think about the women in the world who cannot use their voice and who can't speak out without facing repercussions, okay? We need to do it for them, and we need to rise up into the woman that we came here to be. This is our destinies, right? Our destiny is to live a full, expansive life full of joy, opportunity, abundance. Your ancestors do not want you to suffer, okay? They want you to have fun in this lifetime, but you're also here to change the world and activate the people that need you. This mission is bigger than us. And that was the thing that always drove me on times where there's been times where I've been thinking like, oh, I don't want to do this. I was speaking to my business mentor the other day and I was saying there's times where I really don't want to do this because I don't want to speak out, because what happens, what's happened before when women have spoken out? We get silenced, we get cancelled, we get put in danger, okay? We're still holding on to those memories and those stories and that old paradigm. So as women, yes, it is difficult for us to really stand in our power because of the things that we've been through, because of the oppression. But this is what we have to do. This is what we signed up for, and we have to really stick together and support each other on this journey. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there, but thank you so much for listening, and I'm going to leave all my links below. Don't forget to submit your questions if you want me to give you any channeled guidance around any situation that you're having. Remember, I'm going to be doing hotline episodes. And also, if you feel the call to go deeper into this work and you want to work with me one-to-one to walk the priestess path and activate your angelic energy, then as I said, all my links will be below. I would love to support you on this journey. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye, Queen. Mwah.